Welcome to the second episode of What Economists Are Missing. I'm coming in with more fire now. This is the second episode of this podcast. The topics in these podcasts are supported by a book titled What Economists Are Missing, which is keeping you poorer. This book is a product of a combined 150 years of research and practice. The book can be ordered from Amazon, Apple Books, and others. Please buy it because it gives you a full comprehensive analysis why economies are not growing and the solution how to fix the issues. The first episode said the countries must raise capital. Capital is organized. Capital is your own money, that which you raise. The message is that countries can raise only capital collectively using technology such as mobile phones and other sources, the betting industry in particular. Capital does not come from foreign investors as others do. Capital is not taxes. The difference between East and West is mainly how they raise capital. We circulated the proposal on how to raise capital to over 100 countries. Only Argentina and Russia acknowledged. We have an extract of the BRICS, what we sent to the BRICS countries. So this lack of response by officials of government is the main reason why economies are stagnating. The ministers and the president do not know what is submitted to their officials until the relevant DG or in some cases the media bring it to their attention. Therefore, the technocrats, our learned men and women, are keeping billions of people poor because they are missing the issues summarized, in this case, in chapter 23 and 24 of this book, and are not communicated to the suggested solutions to the ministers and the president. Now we focus on economists, that group of technocrats called economists. What is economics? If you ask them, you'll be totally confused. They have all fancy definitions that at the end they lead nowhere. They miss the definition of economics as it was supposed to be. Economics is the science of production and distribution of wealth. The Oxford Dictionary of Current English also defines economics as the science of production and distribution of wealth. Now our academics, they don't stay there. They fly around with fancy definitions about scarcity, limited resources, and how it must be managed. These other definitions are focusing on the science part of the definition. Science means dynamics, projections, tabulation, statistics, forecast, funding, and production to distribution. All that dynamics is the science part of the definition, because economics is the science of production and distribution. They never reach the question of production. The first recorded economist was Adam Smith, born in 1923. Before David Ricardo, born in 1772. James Mill, the father of John Stuart Mill, born in 1806, who published Political Economy in 1848. Economics means produce wealth in abundance and distribute that wealth. That is what they say. Wealth is abundant, the surplus, more than enough, accumulation, excess production. These economists, if you read them, that's what they say. Economics is about production and the distribution. You study with the word production. We know there is scarcity, the logical amelioration of what should be to produce in abundance. But the scarcity is only the science part of economic definition. Every president and minister has a team of economic advisors to advise on economic matters. Economists' definition emphasize on production to increase production in measurable ways, to produce plentifully. If the president are advised to increase production, they will. It is not clear what the advisor talk about because production is not happening. Throughout Africa, Americas, and Asia, economists advise the president and the minister to seek investors, particularly foreign investors. The source of foreign investors appears to be Western Europe, countries such as Britain, Germany, France, and Scandinavian enclave. Economics as a discipline does not say that a country must wait for foreign investors. It says produce in abundance. The economist's definition does not assign the production to some foreign investors. In South Africa, for example, the government can't over-push white citizens because they are already invested. Therefore, economists are missing the critical part of the economics, that they must raise capital to engage the other part of the population, which are black people, to increase production. There is a shortage of investors throughout the world. This is where scarcity is deep. A country does not know when the investors will arrive on their streets to start production. All countries send emissaries overseas, particularly to London and New York. In South Africa, the president appointed a team of eminent persons, from the CEO of Standard Bank, the past deputy minister of finance, the past previous minister of finance were enlisted to go overseas to attract investors. Economists are completely missing the nexus of economics. If economics says produce in abundance, why should countries wait for foreign investors? Why is there the need to send people to look for people that are not necessary? The answer here is we must raise our own capital. They don't want to do that. They think it must come. But foreign investors don't bring capital to you. They can come to do whatever they want, but that is not capital to the citizens of that country. Production requires deeper planning, not necessarily difficult, but understanding where to start. The modern economist should be seized with the effort to intensify production, to advocate and set up factories, to organize the necessary infrastructure, greater mass funding, training and facilitation to solve the many issues militating the effort to produce more. Boosting production is key to a successful nation. Strangely, African economies struggle to produce enough for their own consumption, and they leave matters to market, especially to these foreign investors to come and do what the Africans themselves must do. It is an unworkable approach. They must seek solutions to solve local limitations. Economists may think the ordinary citizen cannot start manufacturing. The truth is they can. Ordinary men and women on the street throughout the world have some climax idea in their mind. They just need facilitation or some training. In South Africa, that training was piloted in Johannesburg, in Soweto, and Dundee in the KwaZulu-Natal. 76% of this cohort came up with viable product ideas. They needed facilitation to reach production stage. That facilitation was provided for free to reach business plan level. The business plans were delivered to the Department of Trade and Industry in Pretoria in 2014 to advise the Director General. and his team of technocrats that it is possible to start factories to increase production. The DG refused. The team also went to the president's offices in union buildings and Department of Finance. The minister does not know we were there at his department. The president's offices for 12 years without a reply. 12 years without reply. Talking to the department responsible for industry. Trying to talk to the president. Trying to talk to his deputy. Trying to talk to the Minister of Finance. They don't answer. I don't know if the president and his deputy are aware that we were there for 12 years. Although the team also presented the department office, president office, deputy president and advisors and technical team, the Minister of Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation, the president and the ministers do not know. This information ends with the technocrats, ends below the DG or with the DG. They're busy people, of course, but they're not doing what they're supposed to do. This is the same attitude in economies in Zimbabwe, Zambia, Nigeria, Ghana, Ethiopia, Egypt, Southern America, Asia, and East Europe, everywhere in the world. The fact is that economists bog down on the science part of the definition of economics. They study the movements of markets, the bulls and bear markets, world demand and supply scenario, gold prices, the other mineral prices. They can pinpoint the movements of share indices, such as the FTSE, the Nasdaq, the Nikkei, the CAC, Hang Seng, Kospi, S&P. Economists analyze and report on company results and dividends and share prices. But where is the production? This knowledge is the science part of the definition of economics. Economics, therefore, without any shadow of doubt, bog down on the science part of the economic definition and never reach the production stage. And I can repeat here, economists bog down on the science part of the definition of economics and never reach the production stage. Now, if economics is produce and distribute, they never reach that stage where they now put production into place. You go anywhere, where are the factories? What are the modalities or methods of putting the factories in place? They don't have. But they know every economic activity in the world, except that they don't reach the production stage in their countries. Somehow economists jump to distribution, analyzing the budgets and treasury reports and how the money should be spent. They analyze the three social ills, poverty, crime, and inequality, and they end there. They blame apartheid and white monopoly captain and all sorts of manner of excuses, including wage increase, labor rules. All this is okay. You can blame them. But where is production? Wealth is distributed on the market, labor market, supermarkets, mega stores, bazaars, mini markets, stores, exports, online trading platforms, and so forth. Markets are everywhere. To receive wealth, one must be bringing products and services to the market. And this is where production comes in. If you don't produce, you have nothing to take to the market where funds or wealth is distributed. You remain poor because you've got nothing there. The black people are giving white people the money they have. They are giving white citizens the advantage because only the white citizens are producing and providing the products in their supermarket. The black person is only a market to buy, has got nothing of his own. And the economists don't see that. The president doesn't see that. The deputy president doesn't see that our people are not producing. They are listening to this story that they must look for investors from overseas. Black people have no product in our supermarket. This means there's no wealth that flows to them. The outcome is a skewed income distribution in favor of white minority, giving rise to South Africa's most unequal society And this is the same scenario in Brazil, for example, in Southern America. Only a few people are rich, 10% of the population. The rest are poor. And they have no solution for this because the economists say, no, you must wait for the Americans. You must wait for the British. You must wait for foreign investors. They are expected to arrive some point in time, but there's no date. South Africa has the most unequal society in the world, with a Gini of 63, the highest in the world. To close that gap requires more production on the part of black people. It is not happening because the black people give white citizens their money and the black citizens are only buying. The media too does not understand this topic and does not want to cover it. The key solution is to bring black people into production, to bring poor people into production. Not merely organizing jobs, but producing, setting up factories, operating and producing product. They can do it if there's a little bit of facilitation. Free education, social grants, field health, minimum wages is to cushion the vulnerable groups of the population. But there must be a process of increasing production, and it's not happening. So this podcast is bringing what is missing, that all discussions about economics must end with production. Where is that production? So let's look at again on this topic as we advance in this argument in episode 3. You can share it with others and buy the book. Thank you. I think it was better this time.